Welcome. This is Natalie and Andy Goddard, and we're excited to share with you on a topic that we have seen be so relevant in building a powerful, successful, and lasting doTERRA business. It's, if we could narrow it down to one thing that makes all the difference, it would be belief. And truly, belief is the fuel of your doTERRA business. It's what makes things go.
So, belief is ultimately the thing that inspires action. It's the precursor to any activity. So, we're going to go into detail about what kind of activity you want in your business and how belief is what leads up to that activity in your business. So, belief. This is the driver. Belief has an impact, like we said, on action, and the type of action that you take is what drives the results that you get. So, and in turn, the results that you get then validate the original belief that you started with. So, let's walk through an example on this. Let's say that you believe that peppermint could have a great effect in supporting mental clarity. So the action that you might take is using the peppermint, like maybe a friend suggested, and getting the oils out and rub them on your temples or back of your neck. And from that action, you'll be getting positive results. And once you get those positive results, you'll say, hey, I was right. The peppermint really did work. An example of not having belief, let's say somebody gives you a sample of On Guard and you think, oh, it sounds like hocus pocus to me. I'm not going to do anything. So you take weak action or no action, and then you get weak or no results. And then you go back and say, see, it's it's true what I thought. The oils are just hocus pocus. So this is what we call the belief cycle. This is why it matters so much what beliefs we choose, because ultimately your beliefs determine the actions you take and the results you get.
It's the start of everything. Those results just keep reinforcing whatever belief we started with. So, belief is the key. If you can start off with high belief, you can see amazing possibility, and that can come forward in your business.
So let's talk about some specifics now and what you can do to create a framework of belief that is going to lead to the very best results in doTERRA. So we've come up with what we call the belief levels. And we found that the belief levels correlate directly with the type of business results people get in doTERRA. And we found that these are building blocks. They start as at the bottom. The bottom is basically a foundation, and each of these leads progressively from one to the next. So the foundational belief that is crucial in a doTERRA business is belief in the product. You've got to believe in it, and in order to use it, in order to have life-changing experiences, and in order to share it with others. If you don't believe in the product, then there's very little integrity in what you're doing in building this business. So we found that if you have a strong belief in the product, you can build to the level of executive.
And that is key. Just having that foundational belief in the product gives you a great foundation to move forward in the business. This is one that, some people come to doTERRA and say, look at the amazing retention rate. I am just going to take advantage of this vehicle, right, that the company and the opportunity is. And I don't think the product matters that much. Well, it doesn't take long for them to focus in on the product and see the power of the product and how that is actually the foundation that drives a very powerful and successful company that we can all connect to and create amazing financial pipelines through. So product is the key, product's the foundation. Then we move to the next level, which is belief in the company and the opportunity. And the thing that I love, as we start to progress here, we realize you've got to have in place that first product level. We spoke with a leader that they had gone up in the ranks a little bit, but then they were feeling stuck. They weren't advancing like they wanted to, and we wondered why. We wondered what was happening wrong. And as we dug a little deeper, what we found was that they didn't use lifelong vitality. They didn't use that product. They didn't use the daily nutrient pack. They weren't participating in that part of the product. And so because of that, they weren't sharing it, and their business wasn't built on that. And that was showing up and stunting their business growth. They couldn't move beyond that. So as that builder began to use lifelong vitality, they began to really grow in their belief of the product. Then they were able to share that, and all of a sudden were able to advance in rank and move forward. It's so simple, and oftentimes like we think, oh, it's got to be more than that, right? They must be doing the wrong thing, or da da da, right? But it starts at the belief. We may be taking different actions because we haven't got that strong belief at the core. So now we really can move in a powerful way to belief in the company and opportunity. And this is easy with a company like doTERRA, right?
So when we say belief in the company and the opportunity, belief in the company has to do with we trust that the owners are going to do what they say they're going to do, that they have integrity. When they say that they'll never take the company public, that we can have full confidence in that, and that they will steer the company in the direction of their vision and in our best interest.
Right. Even promises like co-impact sourcing promises or purity of the oils promises, those are all things that we believe in from the company. And the opportunity, we believe in the disclosure and earnings reports that we get every year. We believe that this opportunity is real, and if people will put time and energy in, they will create an amazing financial pipeline.
So we have to believe that our actions will get the results that we're looking for. So at this level, you can build to, if you have a solid belief in the company and opportunity, you can build to elite and even premier. One example of builders who have had an incredible belief in these two is a couple that's on our front line, and they are just a young couple, 21, maybe 23 years old each, and they were in college. They were working part-time jobs, and when they discovered doTERRA and had been trained for about a year, they had such a solid belief in the owners and in the compensation plan that they decided to quit their jobs, drop out of school, and go build full-time for 6 months in a foreign market. And so you can see that massive belief leads to massive action. And so that's just one example of seeing the company and opportunity for what it really is, which is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It is. It is. And it's so sweet to see as we have that foundation, we can move up to the next level, which is belief in you, right? Belief that you can really achieve your dreams, that you can make a difference and you can succeed in doTERRA. And I think oftentimes this is one of the hardest levels of belief to get. It's so easy for us to believe in other things outside of us, but this belief level requires us to really look inside and believe in ourselves.
One of my favorite examples of believing in self is one of the people that joined our team. She was she and her husband owned a tire store in a really small town, and they were really, um,
Peaceful,
peaceful, yeah,
almost quiet, timid
super, yeah,
people in a way.
uncomfortable presenting in public, not really outgoing,
Didn't want a lot of attention for themselves.
right? Then doTERRA came along, and they fell in love with the product. They had a solid belief in the company and the opportunity, and so they just started sharing. They started opening their mouth and holding regular classes, and they had success. Um, they've um, they've built to diamond since then, and they are totally changed people now.
Mm-hmm.
As I look at the transformation that's taken place, as she's moved from this shy, timid, small town girl to um, a rock star on the stage. I mean, when she gets up and she runs, I've seen her lead a training, with 70 plus people from her team, and she completely owns the stage. She has incredible presence of mind. She's very calm, but very commanding. And I've just seen her belief in herself skyrocket.
Mm-hmm. And you can just feel it. And you can see that through her influence on her team. Her team has grown exponentially with that kind of solid belief. And they have seen this pattern, right? So they begin to grow in belief in themselves and their ability to succeed with doTERRA as well.
So sometimes people ask, if I don't believe in myself, what can I do? Do I need to go to, uh, a $5,000 seminar? Do I need to pay $10,000 to a life coach? And we just say, you know what, personal development is important. Always be reading, always be learning. But probably the best thing you can do to build belief in yourself is just to open your mouth. Just start sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Start doing small classes, small meetings, and it's unbelievable how predictable it is, the way people will grow in belief in themselves.
It is, and it's great that you grow in it, right? Because it's okay to fail faster. As we say, we can have some of those bleeps along the way and really know that we're growing, we're developing, and we're going to become a more powerful um, individual and influence as we go along. So I love this level of believing in you, and it's a key turning point, truly. As you do that, then you can have belief in other people, um, namely your leaders, as you move on to the next level. That belief in your leaders is so key to advance to the ranks of gold and platinum. And I remember in the beginning kind of seeing, wow, okay, this is what's happening here. People are getting stopped up because they don't have belief in their leaders and their leaders' ability to achieve. And so as we looked closer here, it reminded me of one of our leaders, one that listened from the very beginning. And she had done very well and gotten to these ranks of gold and platinum. And yet she wasn't advancing beyond that and wanted to get to the next levels. And so, as we mentored together, one of the things that she decided to do was make a vision board with where she had herself and her leaders that she was focusing in on those four leaders that she had and their positive attributes. What were the three key things that would make them a powerful builder and leader in doTERRA? And she focused in on that and created this poster, sent us a picture of the poster, and just began to focus her mind and her energy and her belief on why those builders and leaders were powerful and why they should be advancing. And so, as she focused in on that, of course, naturally, the results came, and she advanced to the rank of diamond because of that belief. You know, she was able to get to that level and exceed it.
So sometimes people say, well, when you say belief in your leaders, are you talking about upline? And the good news is, because they might say, I don't have great confidence in my upline leaders. They're not showing up as leaders. Well, the good news is that's not what we're talking about here. When we say your leaders, we're talking about your key builders, the people that you've enrolled, that you're partnering with to create success. So you are independent. You can create your own reality. And so belief in them is crucial. There are a couple of people on our front line who would say that the only reason they succeeded was because someone believed in them. We were able to see potential in them and partner with them powerfully because of our belief in them.
So, Andy, what do you do when, you believe in these builders, but they're not quite showing up?
So, I think what our builder did is the first step, create that vision board and being able to visualize them in that role. Sometimes we get to be the one who inspires that type of behavior and that type of character as well. This is a volunteer type business. We can't force anybody to do anything. And so really our best option is to inspire rather than require. Mm-hmm. So sometimes that involves setting goals with them, expanding their vision of what's possible, really coming to know them and their unique abilities, their unique gifts, and creating a roadmap for them that's really tailored to their gifts and their passion.
Yeah. So that can be so powerful as we focus in, believe in them. There's some, if you look at the leadership quotes, the greatest leadership quotes of all time talk about how, leadership is truly believing in someone more than they believed in themselves, right? So this level, to get to this rank, that's what's required. And
one of my favorite quotes on that is Stephen Covey when he says, leadership is seeing the potential in someone so clearly that they basically see it in themselves and become it. So it's it's really the unique role of a leader to envision that and then help people manifest it.
Mm-hmm. And that's such a powerful role that's rewarded with that gold and platinum status.
The next level is believing in your why. We talk a lot in this business about your why, and it's truly the thing that inspires us to get out of bed, to do hard things, to get up, even when we're feeling down, to keep going, to overcome obstacles. Your why, the bigger your why, the more successful you'll be. We've seen this over and over again. Yes. Sometimes we ask people, why are you doing doTERRA? And they say, well, I just want to make a lot of money, which is fine. That's a valid reason for doing doTERRA. But sometimes if our why is just to serve ourselves, then it doesn't lead to taking as much action. Whereas some people have a vision of changing the world and having a global impact and blessing not only their own family, but also their community and their their nation and having a lasting change. So, what is your why? What is it that motivates you? What is it that got you started in the first place?
And I like to remember that this changes oftentimes along the way. So it's important just to keep expanding that why. And as you do that, you'll be at this level of diamond. If you know why you're doing doTERRA and that why is deep enough that it drives you to powerful action, that's where the magic happens.
So, let's talk about the next level of influence. This is kind of the summit of the mountain, if you will, because once you have a high level of belief in your influence, then you truly have impact on multiple generations. Your influence is felt beyond just your front line or the handful of people that you work closely with. So influence is, another word for that is legacy. Are you creating a legacy in your doTERRA business? And we found that people who have achieved Blue and Presidential Diamond, they have a high level of belief in their influence. This is how we make a lasting difference, not just in doTERRA, but in the world.
And I love seeing examples of this. We've watched a lot of people progress right through this belief level to the ranks of Blue and Presidential because they chose to believe that they could influence many people, influence generations. This is an expanded kind of belief, right? Where you're just thinking big. It's more than just, oh, are you on my team or not on my team? It's way beyond that. It's about making a difference in the world. And once they shift to that kind of mindset of I can make a difference in the world, a powerful difference, a lasting difference, a lasting legacy, then this piece of influence comes into play and they advance to this highest level.
One thing that John Maxwell has said is that leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. So that's how we achieve this these higher ranks is by having influence and believing in our influence. So just to kind of restate, the foundation of the pyramid to get to executive would be a belief in the product. The next stepping stone is belief in the company opportunity, and then to get to silver, belief in you, and then continuing up the levels, belief in your leaders can lead you to gold and platinum, belief in your why can lead you to diamond, and belief in your influence can lead you to blue and presidential and beyond. Now, another question that people ask us often is, what if I'm stuck? What if I'm lacking if I were to rate myself on each of these levels, what if there's a dip in my score? What if the number goes down? And a lot of times what we find is that there are actually sub-levels within each of these belief levels. So, for example, at the very beginning, we're off the chart. We're not even in the four sub-levels, and we're in what we might call darkness. This is being not even wanting to believe in one of these levels. So moving up, we go from desire to hope to belief and then to knowledge. So let's just take belief in a product as the first example. Sometimes we have couples who jump into doTERRA, and maybe let's just, as an example, say the wife, she might have a knowledge of how well the products work, and her husband is maybe he wants to believe that the product is legitimate, or maybe they're down below these levels in what we call darkness, and he doesn't even want to believe. It's important to acknowledge where we are in these sub-levels, because that will determine what our next steps are. And it also informs the way we speak to people and help them. We acknowledge where they are, and we don't use force or have false expectations of where they could be. So if for example, I was chatting with a couple, and the husband didn't even want to believe, then the way I might speak to him is, are you open to the idea of natural solutions for your health? Are you would you like to think that there might be solutions without side effects, for example? So rather than saying, don't you think these are amazing products? Because if he doesn't, then that's not, he won't connect there, and he'll feel stuck and out of place. So understanding these sub-levels really helps us meet people where they are and help them get to the next level. And this is a repeating pattern at every single level. We don't just jump from one level to the next. We always begin with desire, and then move through hope, and then to belief and knowledge.
And I think this is really a hopeful process, on each level. If I just have desire to get belief in that, desire to know more, that can take me to hope, then I can have the belief. And it's a growing belief, right? We're growing in that belief, and then we move into a knowledge where there's no questioning, and we just have this knowledge. It's just a part of us. And it's awesome to watch this process on each of these levels just happen, and this knowledge kind of kick in, and it becomes a part of you, and then you just move forward.
So our invitation to you today would be to do a little self-assessment. Rate yourself on each of these levels. Give yourself a score, maybe from 1 to 10, and determine where you might have a lower score, and then make a game plan to round out those scores, and get each one as high as possible in order to help you take proper action which will lead to success.
There's incredible resources that you can draw on, whether it's personal development books or just experience with the product or the company and opportunity. Take the time to grow in that hope and belief, and it'll pay off for you as you advance in your doTERRA business.
Absolutely. So if you want a fast car, then fill your tank with high belief. Belief is what's going to get you there and keep your doTERRA business humming and create massive success. So thank you so much for joining us. Here's to your success.